So we are so excited to welcome our final speaker today. Our next speaker is Angela Perenick. Not bad? Okay, so that was the English pronunciation of it. Her last name sounds so beautiful when she says it. Okay, so maybe we can entice her to say her name here when she introduces herself. But I did okay. I did okay as far as the English goes. Thank you. Thank you, Angela.
Yes.
In her capacities as an international speaker, Canadian-born author of 6 books and 5 meditation CDs, addictions trauma specialist, Buddhist teacher, Angela has worked with the Dalai Lama, King of Mongolia, the United Nations, and the President of India. Her revolutionary therapeutic methodology, the ATTM method, I bet the M stands for method, the ATTM, which works with the unconscious, has been scientifically proven to help those suffering from adverse childhood experiences. Her YouTube channel has clocked over 900,000 views, and her TikTok is over 2 million. Congratulations, that's a big deal. She recently migrated from Australia to Costa Rica, and she misses the kangaroos. So didn't fit in the luggage, I suppose. Okay, so since this is the last one of the day and we haven't done any 9s yet, let's come into wholeness and completion. To welcome Angela, drop all the 9s in the comments. Let's see, 999, all the 9s. Perfect. Yes. Welcome, 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 Angela. And I turn it over to you now.
Well, thank you, Shelley. Thank you so much for the introduction. And I want to thank everybody who's made the effort. Maybe you're not on screen, maybe you're listening, maybe you're listening to the replay. No mind, you're making the effort to hear and to change. That's, unequivocal. So I want to, big gratitude. We all know that gratitude and resentment can't live in the same wheelhouse. So whenever we're grateful, we're already elevated. So my, when Shelley and I were discussing what for me to present on, somebody had already kind of taken the spot of transformation, spiritual transformation and leadership. And I had also put forward about fear, like the subject of fear in leadership, and how do we as leaders continue and still be human, right? Like fear is part of the human experience. So I shared this story with Shelley, and that was, I had a download last July, and I was in a lot of fear. I was in a lot of uncertainty. We were moving from Australia over to Costa Rica. And yeah, like we were moving houses, we were in Airbnbs, we were staying at friends' houses, we were, all manner of the security part, safety and security was shaken to its core. And I was feeling a lot of feels, and one of them was fear. And I'm awake in the middle of the night, and I go and run myself a bath because I know water for me just calms me down. It gets me into my left and right brain. They start talking, which brings me into my heart. And that's the safest place to be, is in our heart and in our body. But fear, boom, it takes us out. It takes me out. It takes me out of my body. It takes me out of thinking properly. It just takes us out. So I climb into the bath, and I swear to God, I'm talking to my guides, and it's like, what is this about? Why are we doing this? Oh my God, are we doing the right thing? Blah, 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 And I know my life is about mission. It's not about what am I going to do, right? It's about mission, much larger than, just having family or just having a job, or it's much broader. So there I'm climbing into the bath, and it's a nice bubble bath, and it's beautiful rose scented, because I love rose bubble baths. And like lightning, this phrase just goes right through my brain, and it's so fast I barely catch it. And it said, You are here to dismantle the molecular structure of the paradigm of fear. So it didn't say, and you're here to be brave for other people and get over your fear. It didn't say, and you're here to dismantle fear. It didn't say, we're going to dismantle the molecular structure of fear. It said, we're here to dismantle the paradigm, the molecular structure of the paradigm of fear. And I believe all New Earth folks, those who are here embodied today on the earth that are on this path, are doing exactly the same thing. We just have different missions about it. So yes, deconstruct, dismantle, dissolve, whatever verb you want, the molecular structure of the paradigm of fear. Now, for me, I always go to, okay, well, what's my goal? Yeah, that's the goal, but I want to feel good. It's not about not doing something. It's about doing something positive. So for me, it's about empowerment, right? It's about being seen, being heard. It's about being courageous. It's about being of service and being a master in perception, because it's our perceptions get all monkeyed up. And before I go too much further into my chat, I just want to unwind for a sec and say all those good things that Shelley said in my bio have allowed me to get to this place. There is no step along the path that I have not felt fear. And I have continually deconstructed it and dismantled it as I move forward. What she didn't say is I'm also 26 years sober from alcoholism. So fear ran my life. I ate it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I had to take it out to restaurants and befriend it for years. So, all those great things happened because I had walked through the shadow. And that's what it's all about. It's like, how do we transform the darkness into the light? Transform the darkness into the light. Transform it so we become more and more empowered. So what is fear? It's a constellation of particles of energy in a particular path. Tachyon particles. Now, scientists don't believe in tachyon energy, and tachyon energy and particles travel faster than the speed of light. And right now, the scientists haven't been able to calibrate anything faster than the speed of light. But consciousness, and when you get those downloads from the deities or the guides or whoever your masters are, that's coming in faster than the speed of light. That's why when it spoke to me that day, it was like, whoa. And I had another one the other day, and it was so fast. It was faster than the light switch going on. Okay, so that's what we're dismantling, the tachyon particle energy. So if you get all wound up and like, I can't confront my fear, all you're doing is breaking down the energetics, little piece by little piece, right? And of course, as we face it, we're going to feel some of it. And we're humans and we don't like feeling that yuck. However, that's exactly how we dismantle it. And, as we begin, some of us at the beginning stages turn to spirituality to help us dismantle fear. And I've spent I've been a Buddhist 34 years now, and that's what I did. I'm an alcoholic. I was an alcoholic, and I went to a Buddhist community to think that it was going to help me overcome my alcoholism, my drinking, my stinking thinking, my, the neuropaths, right? And it just didn't. I spent 7 years there, and I'm like, I really, really, really must be broken. So what I've surmised, and I'm seeing all these great comments from Dee, yes, it's stuck energy creating its own empty black hole. It feels quite lucky or yucky. Lucky. Yes, and it makes us feel less overwhelming. How yucky turns automatically into lucky. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes. So, and it's when we confront it, when we look right in its face. So my premise is that you have to have 3 relationships in place in order to be able to confront that which is challenging, the darkness, the shadow, the fear, the jealousy, the resentment. And all of us, because we're living in the Western world, and I would say the whole of the world, we have suffered trauma. Okay, so let's just pull it back. Before we're even able to integrate spirit in a body, we come into a body and we get hit as children from society. Even if you had the best childhood in the world, you got societal things that are knocking you back. You got racism, you got schoolyard bullies. You know, just because you have a certain haircut, people are going to bully. So you're already having to change the molecular structure of who you are. Because when we take a hit, we constrict, right? Energy constricts. And in those early years, patterns are set. And I think I'm preaching to the converted. You all know about conditioning. You all know about patterning. What we're trying to do is unwind all that. Okay? So one of the things that gets hit is the ability to talk, the ability to trust, and the ability to feel, actually feel our body. And I was just at a conference in San Diego where all the leading trauma specialists were presenting. Gabor Mate, Bessel van der Kolk, Peter Levine, they were all there. And I mean, my understanding of what we're changing went up even another level. What we're confronting and why it's so challenging and why spiritual practices alone aren't going to get us there. It's got to be in tandem, the spiritual and the body psychological. We've got to have one foot in the relative plane of reality and one foot in eternity. If we only go into the eternal, which is spirit realm and the quantum, right? We don't feel. We're in a bliss state, but we're not safe there. That's why a lot of people at the beginning are great guides and have great guided energies and masters coming through, but they can't make money. They're chronically sick. They're dysfunctional. They're toxic. It's because they're not in their body. And as soon as you start getting embodied, that's when you start getting the fear, you start feeling the jealousy. That's when you start, and that's the humanness. We're becoming humans. So one of the things that's really, really, really important, and this is Bessel van der Kolk, who's The Body Keeps Score, is the somatic imprints of trauma are far deeper than the psychological ones. So the body hit, that's the cellular structure. That's the cellular structure. I'm going to unwind because I'm a little bit ahead of myself. There's 3 major relationships that must be in place in order for us to dismantle this tachyonic energy pattern, if you will. The first relationship is with ourselves. Okay. It's sort of a given in this world that we're working in the transformational arena, it's relationship to self. The second relationship is relationship to spirit, to universe, to God, Buddha, Allah, whoever you want to call it. In this world, yeah, that's kind of a given again. The third relationship is going to be contingent on the first 2. And that third relationship is with other human beings. So if we want to know about the first 2 relationships and how far along the path we are, we look to the third. How am I relating to others? Am I joyous with others? Do I isolate? Are opportunities coming through other beings? What is my relationship to animals, to the plants, to the cosmos, to what is other than us? If we're scared when we go out at night, okay, so that is where, if you ever want to know what your future is going to look like, look at what is happening right now. And that's where we can make the change. So these 3 relationships have layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And I maintain right now, there's 3 stages of transformation. And the first, for just this first pillar, so I call them pillars. So there's 3 pillars and 7 steps. Today, we only have chance to talk about probably pillar 1, a little bit of pillar 2. And fear comes under all of it. So in the first pillar, and we're talking trauma, we need a definition. And I like Peter Levine's. And that is, it's what happens inside of us in the absence of having a safe parent or significant other witnessing or holding us. Simple, simple. It's not about how grievous it was. It's not about what happened. It's about the fact that we didn't have somebody there. There was an absence to help us move through in that witness. And that's why all healers want to help heal others. We want to give them a witness. And why healers go to therapists in order to be witnessed. Okay. So it's about the absence. And in that absence, those of us, in New Earth leaders, like I say, when we were kids, we would hightail it out. That's why so many of us are really good guides. Like we've got the guided energy coming through us. The thing is that the guided energy comes through us, and our human constriction patterning will warp the messaging because our ego gets in the way. And I was going to say privy to that. I was working on a book with somebody who was a high channeler, and we had numerous guides, like super, super high frequency coming in, and we would sit once a week. She would channel, and there were 5 of us asking questions. And she was trans channeling, and we would ask her questions, or we'd ask the guided energy questions. And when she would come out, she'd have to have a really cool bath, a very, very cold bath, because the electricity coming through was so intense. And then when she would come back to her humanness, her ego would take over. And we could see really directly the clarity of the channeled energy and information that was coming through, and the kind of lack of clarity when her humanness was really present. But she couldn't see it. She couldn't see the division between when she was in the trans channel and when she was being human. Anyway, so the stage 1, okay, so here we are, pillar 1, stage 1. Stage 0 is knowing that you've had some trauma. So you've had fear. You've been eating fear as a base, as a foundation. And now we're changing it over to the love operating system. Okay, so you can't heal anything that you can't feel. You can't heal anything that you don't know exists, right? If we deny fear and we try and push it away, guess what? What we resist persists. You all know this. Again, preaching to the converted. So we have the fight flight experience. We are going to react mode, right? Sympathetic nervous system kicks on. We're going to fight it out, or we're going to leave. We're beyond our window of tolerance. That's what they call it. When trauma happens, we go beyond what we can tolerate. Our sense of space and time and connection get fractured. Yes, connection to people, but really importantly, our sense of space and time, because we're out of our body and we get pulled apart. And when we're starting to come back together, that's when that wholeness. And I'm imagining people on this call are going from the fractured sense to that wholeness, that coming back together. So I don't want to belabor the stage 1, because I'm sure a lot of you move way beyond this. Only part of our brain functions. We're not in the right and the left hemispheres. We need both talking to us, and we notice our thoughts. Okay, that's the first stage of healing, noticing your thoughts. We realize we have a body. You have to realize you have a body. You have to realize you have needs. You have to realize you have wants. You have to realize you have desires. And when we don't have any of that, we get drained. Our battery gets drained. When we're in stages of transformation and healing, we can just keep going and going, because the patterns have gone. We've dissolved those fear. The tachyon, it's just like, just bring it on, bring it on. And still, we have very, very coarse mechanisms for that high frequency energy to come in. We're still in the 3D. Okay, so stage 2, we become resourced. We know we're in pain. We want to get out of pain. We got to get resourced. Okay, how do you get resourced? You learn about, emotional freedom technique. You learn about EMDR. You learn about a modality that I have developed, and I offer to people to move into the unconscious, because a lot of our fear and a lot of our patterning happens in our unconscious mind. But first, you got to realize on a conscious level that you've got fear. First, you got to realize on a conscious level you're in pain. Then you can then move into the unconscious. So I work with people who, all right, I know all this stuff, Angie, I know about my psychology, and I've worked with it like now, and how come I'm not getting a love relationship? How come I'm still butting up and I'm not feeling powerful? How come the manifestation isn't happening? Because the second stage, you're in the second stage, and now you need to go into the unconscious. Our behaviors get fractured. We notice that. Now we're going to try and resource ourselves so that the behaviors start coming back online. Our sense of body, sensation. I remember going to a chiropractor and saying to her, I don't feel my body. Like I'm thinking my way through life. And she said, and at this conference, it was reiterated. She said, go into the bath. And as you're washing yourself, talk to your body. I am washing my hand. Hello, hand. I'm washing my arm. Hello, arm. Touching yourself, right? Some of us have been traumatized that, we're making love and we don't feel the other person touching us. Or we get super heightened. That's the other side. Everything is super heightened. We're super sensitive. We're super channel, It's like, we got to learn to tone it down. So we're in the second stage, realizing we have a body. Now we have to start to thaw. And that is where psychology and spirituality start to meet. Because it's in that thawing that the humanness is coming up, judgment is coming up. We're seeing our thoughts. We're seeing where we didn't take responsibility. And oh my God, it feels terrible. I'm working with a woman right now, and she is in that stage. She's just like, I got to take responsibility for how critical I've been, how judgmental I've been, how I put my husband down. It's like, yeah, you got to take responsibility. And it's not true. But if you don't, you're perpetuating all of the generational trauma. And anybody who's on this call, anybody who's in the New Earth Mystery School is dealing with lineage cleanup. You're doing lineage work. And I was told earlier today, I was with some folks, some colleagues, there have been 8,000 generations since the beginning of humanity, which is like 100,000 years ago or 20,000 years. I don't know how long we've been here. 8,000 generations. That's a lot of tachyon energy that we're having to dismantle. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it's like, oh, come on. When is it going? When are the goodies going to come? Like we've been sold a bill of goods from capitalism that we're going to get these great big mansions, and we're going to have a whole garage full of cars, and we're going to have 5 swimming pools, and we're going to, do you know what I mean? And that's capitalism. That's buying into a system. Our spirits and souls have been brought here to do higher work. Yes, you get goodies. No question, you get the goodies. And I was a bit discouraged the other day, and I was like, okay, come on, give me some goods. And the download was, and again, it was so fast. It's so fast that you'd miss it if you had that stillness. And that's where meditation, and that's where modalities like the ATTM come in. And it said, Angie, I sent the best to the planet. I sent my best to help humanity. And you're part of that team. And I say that to all of you. You are the best. You are the, like cutting edge, on the edge. And the divine is still working with us to make us even better. And we are the best. That's why we were brought here. And it was like, oh, wow, okay, thank you. Because nobody ever tells you as a spiritual worker, as a psychological therapist, or as a life coach or whatever, you're the best. Maybe 1 or 2 clients might say that individually, but as a collective in this industry, the divine sent its best to help through this transition time. Okay, so there we are, stage 2. Then stage 3 is coming into the transformation and the healing, moving in. So stage 1 is we're healing our thoughts. Stage 2 is we're healing our feelings. Remember, we're thawing, we're feeling all the kara coming. Stage 3 is now about the transformation of the cellular structure. Okay. And again, we're going to feel the pain. So we have to up our ante. And in the psychological world, they call it resourcing, right? So you have to get really heavily duty resourced in order for your window of tolerance, what you're capable of holding psychologically and spiritually, grows. And how we do that is deeper self-care. And this doesn't mean necessarily bubble baths and painting your fingernails and having, yummy chocolates and a glass of wine. This means deeper silence, deeper stillness, deeper solitude and communing with the divine, being with like-minded, like-hearted people who understand that there is no language for the places that we go sometimes. This is the resourcing that we being in nature. Art comes in to play a huge part in our up-leveling and our resourcing, because art is the symbolism of the divine. Like we go to places where we don't have words. And so we have to go to those places also to have ourselves reflected. And that is through art, through music, dance, visual art, sound therapy, right? We got damaged pre-verbally. So we have to heal ourselves non-verbally. That's the ATTM. So I just want to take a moment here and talk about that for a sec. The ATTM is the acronym for the Accelerated Transpersonal Timeline Method. So what are we doing? I don't know about you. I'm very impatient. I think a lot of, healers are, it's because we're used to we're used to not being in a body and being able to go anywhere, anytime. And now we're in a body and it's like, oh, come on, this is so slow. Yeah, we got it. So this modality is accelerated. It moves you through timelines. So accelerated timelines. Now, what is a timeline? It is any period. It could be, from the ages of 3 to 4, the ages of 3 to 10. Timelines are various lengths. They're not always the same for same people. Okay, so timeline, you can move to your childhood, you can move to your adolescence, you can move to your 20s, you can move forward beyond the age that you are now in your physicality, moving into your 70s, 80s, your 100th, your 10th decade. You can move there. So we accelerate transpersonally. So what does transpersonal mean? And I share this story, like I got the download, this is what you're going to call it. And I'm like, what's transpersonal? Like they dropped this on me and I'm like, I don't know what transpersonal means. And they said, go to Google. Go to Google. I went and Googled it. Transpersonal is the combination of the spiritual with the psychological in tandem. So it's not just spiritual quantum energetics, and it's not just the human third dimension. It's the marrying of the two. So accelerated, fast, transpersonal, the marriage of the two levels of reality, the mundane and the transcendent, timeline, moving around, back, forth, all the way in the future, method. And it's here that we go into the quantum and the field of all that is. It is not just one dimension. We don't jump into the 5th dimension or the 7th dimension. We begin in the 3rd and we move into the 5th, and the 4th is the bridge. We go into all possibility, all probability. And it's there that we change the molecular structure of our past, our present, and our future, if we choose, because we have volition, we have free will. Okay, you can't move into the molecular structure of this if you're still, you know, dealing with survival levels of being on the planet. You know, you're crying and you don't have food to eat, and you know, you're being beaten by your partner. It's really hard. So the Maslowian, you know, triangle, the first level is always bodily level. Am I safe physically? Do I have food? Do I shelter? So I'm talking to people, as I said, this is second stage healing and transformation of spirit and mind. People come to me after they've seen psychologists. People are coming to me after landmark. It's like next level. And the good news is, for those of you who are curious, I certify people in this method. So I have a certification program. So I work with people to have them then do this method with others. So this is the second stage. Third stage, and or maybe I've never said that. Yeah, transformation and healing. There we go. Okay, so we're now being able to get things out of the way. We're using the ATTM to change memories. Like, how do you change a memory, Ange? On a molecular level. The visual, the explicit won't ever change, but your energetics, you have full ability to change the energetics of what you experienced. And that's what we do when we go in there. Okay. Similarly, we can change what it is you want in the future energetically. And it is stepping into who it is in a body form that you want to become, because you are that now, just in a different dimension. You just have to step into it. So that's moving through the timelines. This is the healing and transformation. Then you become full of light, and the tiredness kind of goes. You don't get drained. You don't get fatigued, right? Then we move to the second pillar. So we're still in the first pillar of dismantling. Then we go into the second pillar, which is our relationship to divinity, which is the relationship to our higher self, to our being God, being goddess here. Then all kinds of practices open up. And that's what I'm imagining the New Earth and Mystery School is about. But you see, if you don't have this relationship to self and the third dimension kind of sorted, we walk into the second one. And I did this. I walked into the Buddhist community saying, okay, like I want psychological healing. And a lot of us do. And then we run into our trauma. It's like, and when you're a spiritual teacher, you're kind of like, well, go get some therapy and come back when you're ready, and I'll teach you about the quantum, and I'll teach you about, how to spin energy and how to bring in light codes and how to do light language. And if the foundational stuff isn't in place, that's when we get sick, and that's when we get mind disturbed, and because we are in a body. Am I making sense? Does this, are you guys following? I guess I need a thumbs up. And I apologize. And thankfully, Shelley, you're there. There you are, you're talking. Yes, fear has become its own nervous system that's become attached to the sympathetic nervous system. Absolutely. And we can learn to not override our nervous system, but to integrate the energy when it is happening, right in the moment that it's happening. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait until I've got to see my therapist. You don't have to wait until, I can get to a beach. Resourcing gives you the ability to regulate your nervous system. Okay. Lisa Thompson, what determines timeline if it can be any length for different people? What's the constant of a timeline? Probably space is the constant to a timeline. Okay, because space is the only thing that is permanent. Everything else is impermanent. And when we go into the quantum level, we're in space in a particular way. So that's what I would say to that. Yes, all potential expressed and all potential yet to express the unknown sun. Yes, I want to learn more. I'm so ready. I've seen the future me, and I think I'm, yep, good, good, good. Just these 2 splinters left in my soul to work out. I've been trying through therapy, yoga, meditation, but seem like I need to figure out how to get this father wound healed and get reconnected to the divine. Yes. Yeah, like, hey, I spoke to my father yesterday, and he was like a German shepherd on a short leash barking at me, right? And I could take a little bit. I could handle it. I was like, wow, he's on some kind of steroid, man. And I could feel the bite. And I finally had to end the call. I needed, and this is boundaries, and you learn this, as you're progressing through having a body and knowing you have needs and you have rights as a human being. And sorry, I'm not available for that anger, which underneath it is fear. My father is so full of fear, right? And for whatever reason, he's biting at me. And it ain't me. It ain't about me. I may have triggered something in him to, call up, whatever, and it ain't about me. So father wounding, all of this within the modality can absolutely be healed. And I was able to just shut it down with love, compassion for him. It ain't about him. It's not about him. It's about me. Because if we go back to the definition, something happened inside of us and there was an absence, right? Nobody witnessing us, nobody holding us. The wound, the imprint goes in. And layer upon layer. So you deal with the physical, you learn the first stage of healing, second stage of healing, third stage of healing. And then this is on the third stage, you're dealing with the cellular structure. So let me just, oh yeah, I wanted to share this bit. So fear at the beginning, and this is coming from recovery, okay? This is from 12-step work, ACOA, AA, all of this. Is an acronym, FEAR. So at first it is fuck everything and run, right? FEAR. Then as we're sobering up or we're coming into our body and we're coming into the first and second stage of healing, it's like FEAR is false evidence appearing real. Because our perceptions, our sense of space and time have been fractured, and everything that we see coming at us, we don't know how close it is or how far away it is. Is it dangerous or not? Because we're unwinding our nervous system, right? So it's false evidence appearing like it's real, and it's not. Like you jump because it used to be that your dad would come home and slam the door, and so now every time you hear a door slamming, you jump, right? That's nervous system. It's a false evidence appearing real. It's there doesn't have to be a causal effect, right? Then it's feel everything and relax, right? So there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum. Isn't always, yes, we can run, but where we're running to, we can't run away from ourselves. Absolutely. Or, absolutely, we can't run from ourselves. That's the staying in the silence. That's even that first stage, stillness. Oh my God. Oh, stillness was so hard at the beginning for me. Everything. I was trying to read a book. My concentration was broken, right? Again, it's that idea that we get shattered. We get fractured. So we've got to return, just like you're saying, Dee, return to self, return to self, return to self. False evidence appearing real. Come back to self. You are safe. I always say to my clients, the safest place that you have is in your body. It don't feel safe at first. So got to do some somatic work, whether it's yoga or Pilates or whatever, to have an integration. Second, okay, so I'm going to just jump here to, yeah, there you go. Fuck everything and run, false evidence appearing real, feel everything and relax. Yes. I need to go to my sponsor, work the steps, meditate on this before I go to DA and not be tempted to run down the bottle if things don't pan out. Yes. Yeah, we go from one addiction to another. I gave up the booze, I went to sex. I had to right relationship with sex, I went to money. Right relationship with money, I went to work, right? It's the neural pathways that we're working with. It's 88, what do I say? 8,000 generations of addiction that we're changing. That's why it's so hard, and you can do it. You're doing it. I'm not going to say you can do it. You're doing it right now. And then, so in the second relationship, we have first relationship with self, then relationship with the universe. That's when we're learning to call in energies higher than us, learning how to hold them, learning how to offer them up. Okay, mantras, meditation, visualization, light codes, portals of energy, deity energy. Okay, so it's a spectrum. When somebody says, oh, what you do is a meditation. Oh, no, darling, it's not a meditation. Right? You know, and if you're doing portal work, oh, no, that's not a meditation. Okay, so, but that's the word that our planet has right now for anything to do with consciousness. Oh, you meditate. Oh, you're a spiritual teacher, you teach meditation. It's like, and you know, and then you start saying, well, I open portals and I, you know, channel energy, and it's like, oh, you know, you get that blank. So, you know, begin this relationship slowly, slowly, slowly. Focused doing works for me, lucid dreaming. Yeah, there's so many. Okay, there's many ways to connect to that divine energy. And then the third relationship, I'm trying to give structure for people realizing that fear is false. It's energy that needs to get dismantled, right? And we can do it. And the third relationship, like I say, it's going to be the place in which all your work is going to become manifest with human beings, with money, with opportunities, with circumstance, with environment. So you do these first, you know, you're working on yourself, you're working with divine, and then, okay, I'm able to talk to 1,000 people at a time in a room. You know, there's no fear, there's no, like, that's based on the first two relationships. I can talk to 20,000, like it, you know, we all are going up the scale, as the Sufis say, you're going up octave after octave, and, you know, until you're enlightened. So I want to switch channels. Is this about the right time, Shelley, for me to switch channels to just talk up briefly a few minutes about the free gift? Is that what I'm doing? Because I wasn't quite savvy. It's like, how do they connect with me? So here we go. What I'm offering, and if you give me your email, I will send you the second offer, because what I realized in creating this first offer for folks is that, you know what, they're probably more advanced. And I have a column of ascension with all the portals and the naming of the deities and all that beautiful quantum work on recording. And I have a beautiful visual, a PDF of that. And when I do summits like this, I kind of go, what level are people at? You never really know. So the gift I have right now, I think, is amply robust. And I would love to offer a second one if anybody chooses to have the second. So the first one is a 40-day possibility plan. And what that is that it's 10 meditations of working with your divine energy and your humanness and your divinity on what's possible, what's in your prosperity bucket. Okay, because we run into all of our belief systems, and this is not belief system work. This is more on the spirit level. And it's about possibility, because we're in source energy. And what is source? Source is all possibility, all availability. And our humanness gets in the way. It's like, well, I don't know if I can do that. Oh, that's a bit quick, or that's a bit harsh, or that's too fast. I don't think I can do that. We have to align with our divinity, right? That's what these 40 meditations are about. You do 10 of them, and you do them in the cycle 4 times. And you notice after, you know, the first cycle of 10 days, the shift to the second time you do it. It's like, wow, I don't feel this and this and this, because you're repeating, and then you do it a third time, and then you do it a fourth time. So with that, there is also the ability to talk in community. There's a Facebook group. There's a private Facebook group for that, and the ability to chat with me on your experiences in the platform. Okay, and the second beautiful gift, and this is, I guess, a bonus, a bonus on the bonus, is a column of ascension meditation. And it's about 15 minutes, and it's throwing up a column of ascension, opening up our intergalactic star portal, our galactic star portal, our, all the grids, our different levels of body, the auric body, the rainbow body, the, all those beautiful bodies that are beyond our physicality, and then moving down into our higher self, and then opening up all the channels, the chakras, and moving into the star portals below us, and moving into the higher energies and frequencies in the earth, and hooking into the crystalline light energy in the earth. So can you put in your email, and we can email you, or do you want us to put the email in the chat? And Shelley, I'm going to take you guided here. I mean, I can definitely cut and paste people's emails if that's something, like I can do that. I put them in for now, yes. And those people who want to connect, and I can definitely give you my email. So it's Angela, and I'll put it in right here. Angela, but now, Shelley, is there a way do you have the link to my gifts? Or should I?
So,
Yeah.
yes, I love that our speakers are not only generous with their time and their wisdom, but also with their gifts. So I have, we have some donations for the games, and we have donations for the all access pass and the raffle, which, I'll be taking care of. For the free gift that you're offering here to connect more with people would be, you providing that link. You can provide it here. And then also, if you can create a post in the Facebook group
Okay.
that has all the information on what you're offering and how they can connect with you, where they can connect with you, all the good stuff that you're offering.
Okay.
Do a post like that in the Facebook group, and I will pin it to the guide. I will add it to the guide so that everybody can find you easily. I don't want it to get lost in the Facebook group, as things do.
Okay, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've just now put up the link to the 40-day possibility plan,
Perfect.
and I've got here quailchew@gmail.net, move, love, create, earthborn essentials. So and the link isn't working. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. Okay, well, thank you for being expedient, and we'll find that out. Everyone, I recommend you see and comment on all of them. Yes. So I will get my VA who does all this, and we're going to find out why it's not working. And
okay.
I've got a few emails here, and I will definitely go into the group. And yeah, so there you go. 3 pillars, 3 stages of healing. There are 7 steps, but we're not going in there. ATTM, the accelerated transpersonal timeline method, working in the quantum in order to change the tachyon energy, or the your quantum energy. So do we have time for questions, or I don't what goes on?
I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay.
We might have a little time for questions. Shelly Martinez dropped her email in there for you if you would like to grab that one also. Yes, if anybody has questions, we might have a little bit of time. We are wrapping things up here.
Yes, and I know it's the end of day.
Mhm.
Like it's dinner hour in the East Coast, and in Australia, people are just waking up. And
Yes.
so they'll be
Yes.
listening either to the replay, or I don't see anybody here that I know from Australia, but I've just spent 15 years there. That's where the majority of my community is. So, but
Yes, yes. Thank you for bringing your community here. So that was absolutely fascinating, wonderful. I loved it. And so everybody else, if you love that, let's see some 9s in the comments. Drop those 9s. So
Mhm.
grateful, such generous gifts that that Angela is sharing with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, lots of nines there. So much gratitude and appreciation. Thank you so much, Angela. We appreciate that you are here. That, yeah. Kimberly says, whoo.
Well, and I just again want to thank you, Shelley. And I want to tell a little, just a tiny wee little story that Shelley and I were in a mastermind together, and I was having a massive meltdown. You know, as we do. I mean, you can't be doing this work without meltdowns because that's what the breakthroughs, where the breakthroughs are. And you single-handedly moved me through, just witnessed, and I'm forever bonded to you and grateful. So you're doing
Thank
fantastic
you.
work, and I wouldn't be here without you today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting me
Mm.
because you did, right? I couldn't have held space for you if you didn't trust me to meet with you and to have that conversation and to get to know you. So I'm grateful that I was able to do that because I love you. I think you're amazing and I love the work that you're doing. So
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, and I did promise our audience that I would ask you to say your last name.
Herenik.
Mm,
And you
beautiful.
said it perfectly, Angela Herenik. Or
Oh,
in Ukrainian, Hrenyuk.
there we go. That's what I was wanted to hear.
My heritage is all Ukrainian, Hrenyuk. And yes, talk about generational trauma that I am unwinding. It's still ongoing, to be honest. I have family that are fighting in the war, and it doesn't feel good. And
Yeah,
so I'm unraveling it for the future as well.
beautiful. I love that. Well, thank you again, Angela, and thank you, everybody. I know, such a beautiful name. I had to ask her to to share the Ukrainian pronunciation. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the comments, everybody. I apologize, I wasn't keeping up, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's perfect. Thank you, Angela. And thank you, everybody, for participating in another beautiful day of the summit. Having such a great time here. A quick reminder that the doors to the North Mystery School, they are open right now. And I do have a summit special for you. It is a month-to-month membership that is usually $444. And we've been talking a lot about the angel numbers. So usually the 444, that's because the angels are there to support us and we are building the foundations. I'm offering it through the summit only for $111 a month. And that 111 is all about taking those first steps, leveling up, and you have an opportunity to level up and accelerate your ascension with us. So in order to get in on that deal, you need to schedule your discovery call by the end of the summit. Okay, you don't have to sign up yet. We do want to have that discovery call, so you can do that. We can chat at bookshelley.com, BOOKSHELLI.com. And no obligation. There's no obligation. We'll just have a conversation and you can ask questions and we'll see if we're a good fit together. So that's a wrap for today. We will be back here tomorrow morning. Did you have something you wanted to share,
Well,
Angela?
yeah, but I was going to say I could just put it in the Facebook group, and that is that the ATTM method has been scientifically proven. We did a scientific trial, and we've proven the method to be transformative. But I can put that in and we're doing a second level trial, and I will be looking for people to participate in the second level trial.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Yes, please do. Please do put that in the reason I like to have all that stuff in the Facebook group is because of course our chat goes away here. And then when people are watching the replay, then they can connect with you there. It's a more a little more permanent place for people to find you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, everyone, have a great night. Thank you so much. Self-care, lots of water, get some rest, and we will see you here tomorrow morning. Take care, everyone.